Horizontal education, cultivating ideas.
Aaron,
Hey,
what do you think of this morning's PD?
I just don't think it applied to my students at all. I don't know how much of this sit and get I can get from admin.
Right, and then they're up there showing all of our interim scores, and my students didn't really do very well, but it's not my fault that the curriculum and the assessments aren't light up. I guess you just throw up your hands and say, whatever.
Does this conversation sound familiar? Where teachers and administration are different silos? Or maybe you're like this teacher, and you don't necessarily feel like you're responsible for your students' outcome. So you start to play the blame game. If it does sound familiar, teacher empowerment is for you.
Today's video is about teacher empowerment. Our objective for today is to make sure that everyone that watches can understand the rationale for teacher empowerment and learn strategies for successful implementation. We want to make sure that at the end of this video, you are clear on what teacher empowerment is, why it's an important move for your school, and how to make it happen successfully.
Teacher empowerment is the intentional shifting of school responsibilities from administrators to teachers. Teacher empowerment can look a variety of different ways. It could be giving teachers more decision-making in their classrooms about what curriculum and assessments to use. It could be asking them to develop and run a professional development, or even asking them to join your leadership team.
What is teacher empowerment? At Horizontal Education, we recognize 3 different buckets within teacher empowerment. There's instructional autonomy, teachers' control over the instruction and the assessments in their class. There's distributive leadership, which is their access to shepherding or leading a specific task. And then there's also shared leadership, which is covered in much greater detail in our shared leadership section. Shared leadership is a teacher's ability to participate in the decisions that drive a school. Some specific examples of each of these buckets, well, for instructional autonomy, it's going to be control over the lessons, the unit plans, the assessments that are critical to instruction within a classroom. For distributive leadership, you might have a teacher that's running the staff newsletter or hiring within your school. And finally, for shared leadership, well, at the Denver Green School, that's participation in a 12-member shared leadership team that makes critical school decisions using the consensus decision-making model regarding budget prioritization or next August's summer professional development calendar.
My favorite part about being an empowered teacher is knowing that I am the one truly accountable to my students and to my practice. I'm able to design my own curriculum. I have the supports from behavior and interventionists and special education teachers and admin to make my own choices, which has really helped not only me, but my students. And I've been able and honored to work with many teachers from other school districts, and I've kind of seen how not having that empowerment gives them a lot of excuses. I can't do that because the test doesn't align to that, or I can't do that because that's not the curriculum we have, or our admin doesn't want things to work that way, and it takes away their voice. And I think I've been able to realize a lot quicker that through these experiences that I've been given through being empowered at my school and then being empowered other places, that I really do have a bigger voice, and that it all comes down to me, and there's no reason why my students can't succeed, and I feel like they can succeed based on what I'm able to do and the decisions that I'm able to make.
It's been really great. So I was an engineer for a while after grad school, and then I switched into teaching, and my first teaching job I was just really surprised at how teachers can be micromanaged and not trusted very well, and just not really treated like a professional. And then when I came to this job in this school, I was just really excited because I am trusted here and I am treated like a professional who knows what I'm doing. We have weekly coaching conversations where I've definitely been pushed into different directions, but ultimately my coach knows that I am the decision maker, and so if I have a really strong stance on something, he kind of allows that to stay, and then if I have a new idea, he takes it seriously so that my ideas are heard.
I mean, for me, teacher empowerment, what it really means, I'm on the leadership team, so it keeps me engaged. It helps me feel like what I do matters beyond my classroom. It helps me feel like I can literally contribute on a global perspective to creating the space I work in. It fundamentally means like I have a voice that matters, and that's exciting to me.
So we've defined the empowered teacher as a teacher that has autonomy and a teacher that holds themselves accountable. I think the ultimate goal of this is that this is someone who's highly effective. But how? How do you achieve an empowered teacher? I think the first thing that we'll say is that you need to make sure that there is a common set of purpose for all of the teachers in your school, the mission, vision, and values of your school, that everyone is heading in the same direction, and these are ideas that we can believe in. Now, that's not going to be enough. We need to make sure that our teachers are supported, that their autonomy does not leave them on an island. That could look like weekly coaching meetings where teachers are being pushed in their craft, or behavior support for Tier 2 and Tier 3 students. A school that is an empowered school that does have teachers in shared leadership is not going to have that principal that's really running everything. And in their place, there need to be strong systems. This could look like the summer professional development calendar emailed out in advance. It could be the student schedule with information for where every student is going to be at any given moment. Or a staff newsletter that has the information that would typically come from a principal in a staff meeting. Another key component that we have recognized that supports teacher empowerment is collaboration. If teachers are going to be autonomous, if you don't have them collaborating, then really you're just trusting them to make sure everything's going to be okay. There still needs to be pedagogy and ideas sharing between individuals. And so what that might look like is data teams or a strong investment in team building. All right, so you have an understanding of how teacher empowerment works. We're going to check out some testimonials. Let's get a chance to hear about how a member such as a student advisor in a school can make sure that teachers feel supported, as well as how a unique position, the internal substitute, can provide teachers that oh so valuable resource of time. Finally, let's check in with a teacher, Ms. Weymouth, and she'll get a chance to explain how weekly coaching meetings and data teams make sure that she feels supported.
I'm very encouraged by how our leadership sets up the model to where our teachers have complete autonomy and control of their classrooms. But with that, they're certainly not on an island. And my position supports their position. In any way that I can, I make sure that they don't have to stop instruction to all of the children in the classroom. Prime examples, I grabbed 3 students from 7th grade today by teacher instruction to set them up in different spaces to make sure that they get the work they're missing completed. This way they can continue with instruction and not have to focus on just these 3 kids and the issue at hand. So while they do have complete control, they're not alone, and my position supports that.
I would say that my position is central to teacher empowerment, as it gives teachers the time that they need and the flexibility they need in order to plan how they need to get more time to focus on their students and their lesson plans.
Teacher empowerment has supported my transition to DGS. Last year was my first year teaching at DGS. It was my 3rd year teaching overall. I was still given the freedom to create my own curriculum and do what I thought was best for my students. This was supported by my weekly coaching meetings with my coach, who is one of the lead partners. I also have weekly data team meetings with the 4th grade math teacher and our math interventionist, where we just go over strengths we've seen in our classroom and growth areas we still need to work on. If the curriculum that I created worked, then I was supported and able to see through our data how it aligned. And if it didn't, it was okay. We could just go back, we could talk about what didn't work, and we could recreate it.